Your life.
Okay, hello everybody. My name's Janelle White. I'm the manager here at EcoWorld Aquarium, and we're available on live stream for the next half hour or so. If you've got any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, I'll keep an eye out on the comments section. Otherwise, we're going to take a bit of a walk through the aquarium. We're going to check out some of our awesome wee animals. Okay, so here we have our Rocky Shore display, and in here we've got animals that are pretty typical of the New Zealand coastline. Around the Rocky Shore environment, we have a range of different sea stars. So we'll start off with them because those guys are nice and easy and they give me lots of cool stuff to talk about. And for any budding marine biologists out there, you know, it's an awesome career path. Great opportunity to just play and touch tanks all day. So here we have a couple of cushion stars. So these guys are like your typical generic sea star. They come in a really wide range of colours, as we can see here. I've got one brown one and one green one. And they are very, very, very simple, very basic animals. So there's no brain going on in a sea star. They operate... Actually, we don't really quite understand how they operate because there is no brain, but there are signs of intelligence, which makes them very, very interesting animals, but we will get to that. So if we have a look under the wee cushion star here, we can see, try not to drip on the laptop here. Might be able to see some of our typical sea star characteristics. So we have a number of arms. We have a central mouth here, and under each arm, we have a set of tube feet. So the tube feet are cool wee little suction cups that this guy's going to use to crawl along the sea floor. You can use them to suck defensively down onto rocks if he's worried about predators, or onto my fingers while I hold him, which is the case with this guy here at the moment. But most of what he's doing is just cruising around looking for food in the ocean. So cushion stars are scavengers. So these guys are pretty much your cleanup crew down in the ocean. Pretty important role. Oh, fabulous. There you go. I'm still learning how this live stream stuff works. This is my first time. Okay, so we'll move on from the wee cushion star. We'll go to slightly more complex. I know he's been running away from me. Look, just over here. Look at this wee beast. This is our reef star, or the other name is the 11-armed sea star. The 11-armed sea star gets a little bit confusing though, because a reef star can have anywhere between 9 and 14 arms. So not quite sure who named it the 11-armed sea star. Also not sure whether they made a bit of a boo-boo there or they just averaged out the number of arms. But these guys are pretty awesome. So I was talking before about intelligence. These ones are pretty intelligent by the old sea star standards. So if we have a look underneath, we can see that they are slightly different to the cushion star. We've got a lot more arms. We have a lot more of these little tube feet. So the tube feet are like, just like in the cushion star, they're going to be using them to crawl around the sea floor, suck defensively down onto rocks. But with the reef star here, they're also going to use them for hunting. So he is going to feed on other animals. And he loves to eat stuff like mussels, scallop, pipi, cockle, other sea stars, and even paua. So the reef star here is incredibly strong. He is strong enough to pull full-grown paua clean off the rocks. And to do that, he uses all these wonderful little tube feet. So say, for example, he's come across a nice juicy-looking mussel. He will climb up on top of it. He will wrap those arms around, and he's going to suck on with all these little tube feet. Once he gets a really good grip, he can pull those arms apart, and that's going to pull the two shells of the mussel open. Once he gets the mussel open, he does something a little bit gross. So he's actually going to turn his stomach inside out, right out of his mouth here, and he's going to digest the mussel while it's still in the shell. So quite amazing. Quite weird too, but as if that wasn't weird enough, the sea stars also have incredible regenerative abilities. So if they lose an arm for whatever reason, doesn't really seem to faze them too much. It's a bit of a minor inconvenience, and they just go ahead and grow themselves a whole new one to replace it. And that's typical across all of our sea star species. But the reef star does take that to the next level too. So what we could do is cut him in half, right down the middle there, and all he's going to do is turn into 2 reef stars. So pretty impressive. They regenerate entirely. With these guys, the theory is so long as we maintain a piece of the central body, the reef star can regenerate. So in theory, we could dice them up like a pizza and we could make 11 of them, 1 for each arm. Obviously, we're not going to do that. We look after our animals here, but the theory is. Sorry guys, it's been pretty busy here today, as I suppose you can probably imagine with everything going on. So the reef star is also capable of reproducing asexually. So that's the last little note I'll make about these guys. Asexual reproduction is when you reproduce by yourself, so no one else needs to get involved. And for the reef star here, it's pretty simple. He's just going to go for a bit of a walk. So half of him will wander this way, the other half will wander this way. He will tear himself into right down the middle, and voila, 2 reef stars. Pretty cool animals. We also have a range of crabs. We've got sea cucumbers. We've got sea urchins. So all sorts of different echinoderms, but I'm getting hurried along, so we're going to go and check out the rest of the aquarium. So here we're popping past some of our terrestrial animals. So up in our trees here, we have some beautiful yellow-crowned kakariki. And kakariki are incredibly endangered in New Zealand. So with the yellow-crowned kakariki here, because we've introduced predators like stoats, rats, possums, ferrets, and cats that eat these guys, we've also encroached on their habitat heaps, and we've done lots and lots of damage. So unfortunately, our kakariki aren't doing too well in New Zealand, but here at Eco World, we are trying to help. So we have a few breeding pairs. We do breed the yellow-crowned kakariki for release out into the wild in the hopes we can bump up wild populations. And, you know, the aim is down the line, get really good, healthy populations out in the wild so we don't need to keep them in captivity. Beautiful birds. Absolutely amazing. And for anyone who doesn't have a bit of a grip on the Māori language, kakariki means green. So they are very green birds, fairly self-explanatory how they get their name. And we do have quite a few different species of them in New Zealand. So we've got the yellow crown here. We also get the red-crowned kakariki. There's an Antipodes Island kakariki. There's an orange-fronted. And most of them are fairly easy to identify based on their name alone. So the red-crowned kakariki, understandably, instead of having that little yellow crown like the beautiful red yellow crowns, we've got red on the head instead. And the orange-fronted, very similar to the yellows, but they've got a little orange band. Okay, how many eyes does a starfish have? We've had a question come in. Okay, fabulous. We're going back to our sea stars over here, and that is a very good question. So sea stars don't really have eyes as we kind of define eyes. They have very, very basic vision, and that's done through eye spots. So instead of being able to form a picture of their environment around them like we can, a sea star's eyes allow them to kind of tell light from dark. So say, for example, everything's light, suddenly goes dark. That's going to indicate a predator swimming above, and it's going to tell the sea star that it probably needs to take some evasive action, like sucking down onto the rocks so it can't be pulled off and eaten. And as for how many they have, very, very good question. And I'm not 100% sure of the answer. I suspect, but don't quote me on this one. I think they have an eye spot for each arm. So quite a few of them, but variable between the individuals. All right, we did have a, oh. There you go, we had another one there.
Same question.
Okay, awesome. Fabulous, we'll keep on wandering through the aquarium then. Some of our animals are being a wee bit shy. I'll let the little sea perches out. Say hi, buddy. Hi, beautiful little buddy. Can we see him on there? He's just kind of sitting on the rock here, chilling out. I might have to go down a little bit more. Here he is. There is a lovely little sea perch. They have really, really big mouths. They are okay for eating though. They are fairly common out in the Marlborough Sounds. And what they do is when you catch them, they open their lovely big mouths and they create a lot of water friction. So a lot of frustrated fishermen out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. You get a big workout winding them up and you think you've just got the biggest fish ever. You get it up to the surface and it's just a teeny tiny little fish with a really big mouth.
So why don't you say if there's any, why don't you talk about like how EcoWorld impacts people?
How EcoWorld what, sorry?
Has impacted people.
Oh. I can't hear your question.
Impacted people.
Oh, impacts. So we do have a lot going on here at EcoWorld. So I'm sure everyone's probably seen in the news that we are fighting for our survival at the moment. So we've been an operational business here in Picton for the last 20 years. Our landlords, Port Marlborough, have decided not to renew the lease that we have on the land, the building, everything else relating to the business is owned by EcoWorld. It's just all of this is happening because of a tiny little patch of land. But effectively, we've been told that Port Marlborough want this little patch of land back, and we've got to clear out. And unfortunately, that means with closing down a business like EcoWorld, we're going to, the community's going to lose out on all the awesome stuff that we do for them. Like we have, I was talking about the yellow crown kakariki, we breed them for release. We have a wildlife rehabilitation centre, which I can take you out for a bit of a sneak peek at, bit of a rare glimpse into the behind the scenes here at EcoWorld. But we do rehabilitate wildlife, we release it out into the wild. We just do so much for the community in terms of education. The money we make goes into the animals, it goes into our rehabilitation work, it goes into education. And all of this is just going to be lost if EcoWorld are shut down. So please, if you haven't signed the petition yet, please do. For us, that's just our way of trying to get the community on board to say, hey, Port Marlborough, we do add value. Maybe you don't see the value we add to the community, but we do. The community does. So any signatures there are greatly appreciated. Going for a bit of a wander, we can stop. We've got a few power here. We've got a cool wee power tank. You probably won't be able to see any of them. So what we'll do is just pull out one of our beautiful wee shells to have a look at. So power shell, pretty common in New Zealand and very highly prized and sought after. So power are enjoyed for their meat. There's a big international market for exporting our beautiful black gold. Are also pretty popular for their shells. And if you have a look at the shell here, you can probably see why, because it is absolutely beautiful. We've got all sorts of colours, all sorts of marking, all spilled together here. And every power shell is entirely original. They are really, really beautiful. And it's actually the power's diet. So the type of seaweed that the power's been eating that contributes to the different colours and formations in the shell. That's pretty cool. Oh, and we have some other questions coming through. Oh, lost mic. Lost the mic. You're saying sounds lost sound. We will try to address this sound issue. We will be back with you momentarily.
This. Can you guys hear us now?
Hello. Can you hear us?
Sound has gone quiet.
Kylie or Angel, can you tell us about the sound now?
Can we get some sound updates? If you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up or something.
Is
so we
it
know
just
that
as
we're
good,
coming
or do you want
through.
us to change it? Let's see. So virtual microphone up here. Right, sound is going
You gotta go
quiet.
grab
Yep. Yes. Sweet guys.
Yeah, we're back.
All right.
Thanks so much for your help there. I would have had no idea. I would have finished the tour. All right, we keep wandering. I was just telling you guys about the power shell and how it's the powered diet that contributes to all the beautiful designs and colors in the shell. This big beast here is... Okay, we'll just pop past this guy. So this beast here is a giant squid, and it looks massive. It is massive. It is 6 meters long, but despite its massive size, it is only a little baby. So this is a juvenile giant squid, and if you come into Eco World, you can see it for yourself, beautifully preserved. So an adult giant squid is going to grow to be anywhere up to 18 meters long. So 3 times this little guy here. Little guy, big guy. He is pretty big. What are you doing, Gary? I don't think you should be doing that on camera, buddy. So we'll have a look at the spotty tank. And I know lots of people don't like spotties because when you're trying to catch something tasty for dinner, it's always the spotties getting on the hooks. But they are really, really cool fish. So they are our spotted wrasse. And fun fact of the day for you, if there's only one thing you take out of this, it's just how awesome spotties are. So they're all born female. And generally, you can identify the females and the males based on whether they have spots or stripes along their backs. So the majority of these ones in here have spots, which tells me they're females. They're very, very young, but generally at around 3-4 years of age, they enter quite an interesting phase where they can change sex. And they're going to do this if in their big group that they live in, which has lots and lots of females in it, one male, if the male is removed for whatever reason, then we see that the largest, most dominant female will then undergo a change, and she will transition from female to male. She goes from producing eggs to producing milk, and she is, or he, will then take over the fertilizing duties for the rest of the group. So really quite amazing, underrated animals. And they are pretty cute, if I must say. You right there?
Yeah. I'm just reading an email.
Just checking emails during the live stream. That's fine.
Yeah.
We have some salmon here as well. King Salmon were really nice and gifted us some smolt, so we can do a bit of a display around the salmon. And if you come in, you can learn a lot about how salmon's farmed out in our very own backyard here in the Marlborough Sounds. And it's quite an interesting process, I must say so myself. And another thing that I really enjoy about coming to the aquarium, and I'm sure there's lots and lots of kids out there who share my love for touch tanks. You can come in and you can touch our animals. So this touch tank here has some of the little guys we looked at before. We've got the beautiful big reef star. We've got a few wee cushion stars in here as well. Lots and lots of different colours. And we've also got the beautiful wee sea urchin, or in New Zealand we prefer to call these guys kinna. And the sea urchin, or kinna, while it looks nothing like a sea star, this guy is actually related to them. So our sea stars, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers are all in the same group of animals. They're known as echinoderms, and that means spiny skin. So particularly appropriate for the wee sea urchins. And these guys have those lovely little tube feet too. They're going to use them for crawling around the sea floor. they're also going to use them for camouflage. So they use their tiny little tube feet to pick up lots of shells and bits of stone and anything they can find on the bottom, cover themselves in it, in the hopes that fish swimming around aren't going to see them as a tasty treat. Because looking at them, they don't look like a particularly tasty treat. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who would be quite happy to argue with me on that point, but each to their own. But fish love them, and fish have evolved incredible ways of getting around these beautiful spines that protect them. You're right. Let's go to the main tank, where all the action's at. You might be able to film it in the side here. Okay, so to my right here, we have our shallows tank. So this is a range of lots of different fish species that we get even out in, Picton Marina, which is just kind of out behind me at the moment. These are the sort of species you're going to find swimming around out there. So we've got blue cod, there's kahawai, we've got waterhowl, beautiful, beautiful gurnard, and my personal favourite, but don't tell the others, our wee pufferfish, who I think is currently being a little bit camera shy. Probably hiding in the seaweed.
Seen him before.
Hey, Puff, you come out and say hi to the people. Yeah, we've had requests for the puffer, so I am doing my best. For now, you can enjoy the little. We've got a beautiful red moki here crashing in the background. We did.
Should we go up to the top and see if we can see it from the top view?
Oh, you might.
You reckon? We're trying to find the pufferfish, guys.
Where are you, Puff?
Not sure if you guys can
He's been
see.
out all day showing off, and of course it's when we go to live stream that he's. Oh, there he is.
You found him? Okay, we found it.
Yeah, there he is. He's come on and turn out the way.
All right, we found the pufferfish, guys.
Put him a request. He's looking. He's making up his mind.
Let's see if we can find one. You're gonna come out?
I don't think he wants to come out. We'll have a look at some of these other fish. We'll give it a moment. He might just need to compose himself a little bit.
Still on.
So this is a big tank, and of course it would seem that Ray is even fitting in this at the moment. He is. He's had him moved under the bed. So Ray is the big favourite in this tank, and he is sleeping through his interview. We had a big school group in here a couple of weeks too. Awesome, fantastic group. Shout out to Rivertown School. But unfortunately, all the kids wanted to see Ray. Ray just wanted to sleep. So he spent the majority of the time they were here really excited to see him, just crashed out on the bottom. So we've got quite a range of different species in here. They are more of our slightly more deep water fish, and I mean they're yeah, go to the top. Okay, we'll go for a bit of a wander and we'll look down on some of them. And that puff's just interested. See, and puffer. Okay, so now we're standing up on the platform where we can look over the Deeps tank. And I can tell you, because I saw Ray just before, we are standing right over the top of him at the moment. So he's just down there, catching some Z's. Just going to see if we can get an angle. Yeah, that's fair enough. Don't want to lose any camera equipment in the tanks.
So I think the best idea, you hold the light for a second. We're going to try and get you a good shot of the fish, guys. 2 seconds.
We're working on it.
We're just removing the duct tape.
We have quite the setup for our live stream this afternoon. We've got an office chair on wheels, lots of duct tape.
You guys will be able to see it in just a second. It's coming out. Okay, here we go.
Check that out, guys.
Alright, I can take the light.
Oh, yeah.
So,
lots of beautiful big fish in here. And these are the guys that we are really, really worried about with being forced to close. We are doing our very, very best to ensure we get the best outcomes possible for every single animal in this aquarium. I got that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing our very, very best to save as many animals as possible. These big guys here, like this beautiful big groper that you may see swimming around there, he can't go back into the wild. And the reason he can't go into the wild is he's got cataracts. So he's got quite a bit of damage to his eyes. And if we were to just release him out into the ocean, it would be just kind of best of luck. He's out there just wondering what's going on, when his dinner's going to be brought to him, because he can't actually see to get out there and hunt for himself. And that means he can't see predators coming for him either, which limits his ability to defend himself. So effectively, a lot of the fish in this tank, if we put them out into the wild, they're going to die, and they're not just going to die quickly. It's going to be a drawn-out, prolonged, suffering death. So for anyone wondering why we can't just release all the marine animals, we've got to take into consideration situations like this where the animals are with us because they are not going to survive out in the wild. So what I'm trying to do for these ones at the moment is we're very, very busy trying to relocate them. So what we're hoping is that either Kelly Tarleton's or the National Aquarium up in Napier will have some room in their tanks and that we can sort transport for these guys so we can get them up north. Unfortunately, options are fairly limited because EcoWorld is one of only 3 aquariums remaining in New Zealand today, or I should say open to the public there.
Which we show them the live stream setup that we're on.
Yeah, give them a look at our live stream setup. This is
This is it, guys.
Kiwi ingenuity at its best.
Okay, so
Computer.
So we've actually got our microscope here as propping up the computer.
yeah,
That's the white box.
so we got the white box, we've got
Lots of duct tape.
An office chair, and then we have a nice little light. So, you know, all Kiwi ingenuity at its best.
We're getting stuff done here at EcoWorld, you know. Just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Now I'm just putting the camera back in. Ignore my fingers.
Okay. Oh, we've lost.
We just lost camera.
Yeah, it's loading.
We just lost camera. Oh, yeah.
It was coming to time. I was about to wrap up anyway.
Yeah, you want to show rehabilitation?
Well, we have the live. It looks like the live stream's still going. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear me at the moment. I know we don't have cam. Oh, there's cameras
We
back.
have camera. Yeah.
We have camera. Just in time for me to sum that up. So if you guys who are watching today have any questions that you'd like to ask me, now would be a great chance because we will be wrapping this up shortly. I have lots and lots to do this afternoon.
Should we show them the rehabilitation center?
Oh, yes, I did promise a bit behind the scenes. Thank you, Tyler's just reminded me that I was going to show you where we put the penguins and all the other wildlife we get in here. So we can take a quick peek out there.
Pretty good, doesn't it? Just let you get more duct tape on, securing the camera.
Because generally, this is a bit of a special preview. The Wildlife Rehabilitation Facility is one that people only ever see when they get the behind-the-scenes tour, close encounters. So
Right.
you guys are in for a treat.
Oh,
Well, in saying that, I'm hoping that it's tiny. we don't have any wildlife in the rehabilitation centre at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic. We do get lots of people coming in and they get really, really sad when they find out that we don't have penguins. But we only get penguins. There we go. We only get penguins when they are either sick or injured and they need our help. And we have them in the Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre, and then we bring them out into the main aquarium to give them a bit of swimming, bit of exercise in the main tanks to really prepare them for release. So us not having penguins, some people find that very, very sad, but I love it. It means that all of our penguins are happy, healthy, thriving out in the wild.
That way. This way. Oh, that reasonable. Reasonable session. We're getting there. What happens? This is a lot of
Here we go, behind the scenes at Eco World. So I am standing right outside a horrible rainy day out there, so it's actually quite nice to be working indoors for a change. Just in here is our Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre. So I won't take you right in there. You might be able to have a little bit of a peek through the window. We have all sorts of setups for the wildlife. So we've got some enclosures. We have all sorts of incubators and stuff in there if we need to control eggs for hatching at a particular temperature, or we need to keep animals warm. We can do all of that in here. We've got all sorts of medicines, trauma kits for anything that's brought in injured or sick. So this is pretty much our one-stop shop. Stuff gets brought into us. We can do an initial assessment, decide where to from there, what sort of interventions required. For example, whether it needs vet treatment, in which case we'll work with the local vets to make sure they get that. Otherwise, it's just a matter of doing some weigh-ins, working out whether they're underweight, overweight, any physical issues they might be having, and get them checked into our centre as quickly as possible, as comfortably as possible, so we can get them released. Oh, Blake. Oh, just had a message from Briley who said that Blake, his son, is going to miss us. So we're going to miss you too, Blake. We really, really hope that we will be here for you to come and visit us in the future. We've got our fingers and our toes crossed. Okay. See what other questions we've got coming in. Pufferfish, you guys rock. Thanks, Alan. You rock too. I do see your name pop up heaps. I know you're a really good supporter of ours, so thank you for that. We've got some other staff sneaking around in the background here, trying not to be seen. They're a little bit camera shy. Well, you can pop out here quickly. I won't get you running around, but we do have some extra facilities out here for our animals. We've got a cool wee enclosure here that we tend to keep penguins in when we've got them at the aquarium. So we've got an inside area for them to run around. We can open that up to this little outside run too, so the penguins can kind of come and go indoors, outdoors, whatever they want. We've also got some aviaries out here that you may be able to see right on the, you can almost see them. Oh, get that one out of the way for you. Just over here. So they are where we have some of our other yellow crown kakariki. They're our breeding pairs. We have them hard at work through most of the warm season. We did get a bit of an unexpected chick this season, which was a bit of a treat. But yeah, as I was talking about earlier, that's just part of the breeding and releasing the yellow crowned kakariki out into the Marlborough Sounds. And fantastic. I'm guessing that that's all we have in terms of questions and everything else. So I just want to say thank you everyone who's supporting us through this process. I know it's not easy for us, but it can't be easy for you guys either, knowing that you're going to be losing our awesome wee aquarium. And we are doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen. We're doing our very, very best.
Should we take them back out to the foyer and show them back all the animals that's going to be?
Back into the foyer?
Yeah, back to the foyer.
Okay, we might as well complete the little aquarium tour. We didn't go through everything we've got. There is plenty more to see in the future. Fingers crossed that the future happens, because this live streaming is something that we would like to get on board with a bit more often, be able to reach people who maybe can't pop into Picton to see us. I'm going to go that way. No, I'm going to...
I want to do like a little run through.
What are they carrying?
What
Bully. So we've got some of our beautiful wee turtles. One of them just got pushed off the front. And they just demonstrated how they get their name, the red-eared slider turtle, because they are exceptionally good at sliding off rocks.
Alright, so.
First,
Oh, we've got another one. What happens to the tuataras?
so the tuatara, we don't need to worry about them. They are probably going to be the best looked after of all the animals here. So tuatara are managed by our local iwi. They actually own the tuatara. So we're working with the iwi and the Department of Conservation to ensure they get relocated to a suitable place. Right now, we're not really sure where that is. That's being worked on in the background, but that one, at the end of the day, that's not up to us anyway. That's iwi's decision, but I can promise you they will be very well looked after.
We're going to get to see the tuataras close up, maybe.
Maybe, if I can find my keys.
Yeah. Well, I could possibly entertain them a bit.
You what?
We could entertain them a bit while watching the bunny rabbits.
Yeah, my keys aren't too far away. Oh, look at them, my cuddling.
Oh, look, there's the bunny rabbit.
How entertaining is that? Look at the little
Yeah.
babies.
Cuddle session for the
Look at
bunny.
those look at the little faces.
Yeah, let me get there.
Little cuties. I'll just go and grab my keys.
I should be able to even zoom in.
Cuddle session with the rabbits.
I will find that out for you in just a second. We're just grabbing the keys.
We're just grabbing the keys. Alright.
So, this broadcast is brought to you by Collaborative Studios.
We can carry on watching the bunny rabbits.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, we will find that out very, very soon.
All right, and now for the big reveal.
We have this beautiful wee boy here. So I'll try to lift him.
Oh,
Ah, there we go. Look at that. So this little dude is a Cook Strait tuatara. Beautiful animal. And if you come and see us here at Eco World, we have 3 beautiful Cook Strait tuatara for you to check out. And if you come during our feeding times, then you might actually get the opportunity to touch one of these guys yourself. So quite a treat.
can I have a pet?
You can have a pet.
Wow.
Yeah, quite amazing, aren't they?
They tend to be very spiky.
Yeah, no, a lot softer than you expect.
Yeah.
So we have had a question about what's going to happen to the rabbits. Pop over and see the little bunnies. So with our terrestrial animals, we have had lots of very generous offers from lots of different people. So we don't need to worry about the terrestrial animals. If the closure goes ahead and we do have to pack up and leave, they will be very well looked after. There's a sanctuary up in the North Island that breeds these guys specifically, and they have offered to take on a couple of extras. There's lots of people who'd be more than happy to take them on as pets. So the rabbits they're all sorted. Tuatara Cuddles, yes, he's very cuddly. Here he goes. So Tuatara are like dinosaurs. They are really, really ancient, and they have remained relatively unchanged for the last probably 250 million years. So quite amazing. They did exist with the dinosaurs, but back in the day when the massive extinction event happened, the Tuataras must have found a nice little hole to hide in where they were safe from all the stuff going on around them. So they survived. Unfortunately, it's New Zealand, well, not New Zealand, but it's people that have given them their biggest problems. And we've done that through introducing pests. So very, very similar to the kakariki. A lot of New Zealand wildlife evolved in isolation for so long without any ground predators that, one, it's not equipped to deal with ground predators. It doesn't know what to do. And most of them are like this guy here. I mean, you look at him, he's pretty lazy. He's just chilling out. He's not up to a lot. So he would be pretty easy pickings for any predators out there. And I've had a question, can you get Tuatara as pets? The answer to that one is no. Unfortunately, we can't keep Tuatara as pets. They are a native species, which means they are under the Department of Conservation control. I'll deal with it later. Get another phone call. That's all right. So, no, native New Zealand animals are not allowed to be kept as pets here in New Zealand.
All right, so that's no, and we've got another one. No, sorry.
So some of the really, really cool ancient things about the wee Tuatara here are, one, they are so primitive, they don't actually have ears. So they can hear, but instead of hearing through ears like we do, they hear through vibrations directly into their skull. And that is the reason why Tuatara are so difficult to age. Because most bony animals we can age just by looking at a tiny little ear bone called an otolith. And what we do is we file down the ear bone, we can stick it under a microscope, and we count the rings a little bit like in a tree. And that tells us how old that animal is. Obviously, that's in post-mortem aging. You don't want to do that while the animal's alive. You might have a bit of a fight on your hands. Probably not going to be very fun for either of you. But because the Tuataras don't have ears, they don't have those little ear bones that we can use to age them. So the only way we can accurately age a Tuatara is by hatching one in captivity and just seeing how long it lives. So that's actually a work in progress at the moment. I believe the oldest one we know of in captivity is 160 or so, and he's still a bit of a teenager. He's still pumping out the babies, having a great old time. So it's estimated they could live up to 250 years old. And we've had a question on whether we still have the water dragon. Yes, we still have the water dragon. Just like our other terrestrial animals, we've had plenty of offers for homes for the water dragon. We've got some blue-tongued skinks, bearded dragon, all those guys. You don't need to worry about them. If we have to close, they've got homes lined up. The rabbits, can we get the rabbits as pets? Yes, I believe the rabbits can be kept as pets. They are not a New Zealand native rabbit. They were introduced to New Zealand for their food and their meat because they are lovely and big. So not food and fur in their meat. Because they're big, they're very, very fluffy. They have the loveliest fur, but they're also chunky boys who would probably be able to feed a family of 5 at least. Block your ears, guys.
Yeah.
So pretty popular there. I don't see any reason why you couldn't get as pet.
but you get these ones as pets. Like if the
I think so.
yeah, I think what they're asking is like if the
That
place-
the
if the place-
species.
Yeah.
Like-
Okay. Like
what, these ones?
Yeah. Whereabouts are they going to go?
Oh,
Or, like, would you sell them
these
as
two
pets?
rabbits in particular, if we're asking specifically whether these ones can be kept as pets, yes, they could. They would make quite good pets. They are very cuddly. I've had cuddles with them myself. But if we
Yeah.
were to rehome
There we
them, we think that being surrounded by other rabbits just like them is probably the best way to go. So we would be looking at a sanctuary. All right. If you would like to add your name down to the list to adopt any of our animals, I do have a big database going on. So feel free to send your offers through to, offers of assistance through to Janelle at ecoworldnz.co.nz, and I'll get back to you. Put your name down.
What else we got?
So what happened to the seahorse and the other animals and birds? EcoWorld has been operational for the last few weeks. We've been hoping, because we filed with the High Court last week, that would put a bit of a halt on all the proceedings trying to close us down. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case, but because we have been operating per usual, we do still have all of our animals on site.
I'm just gonna have to turn it.
Oh, look at him. I'm just going to go and put the wee
Yeah.
tuatara here away.
Let's go back to bunny rabbit cuddle time, and then we can go and see. Janelle will answer more of your guys' questions. Okay, cuddle time with the bunny rabbit. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
I know, right? Well, why wouldn't you want to get one as a pet? Like seriously, that's pretty damn awesome. Right, cool. We're just putting the tuatara away. But yeah, Janelle will be back to answer some more of your guys' questions. Sorry about the echoing. I wish I had a better microphone on me, but I didn't have the right tool on me. All right.
Okay, and talking about Janelle, here she is.
In the flesh. All right, so we might as well just keep wandering around. We'll head back into the reception. And again, last opportunity to ask questions. If you have any, we will be wrapping this up very shortly because I'm already 18 minutes over time. All right, we do have some. What about the other reptiles? The other reptiles, same situation as all of our terrestrial animals. We have had numerous offers to rehome all of the terrestrial animals. So they are taken care of. As I said before, though, if you do want to be added to our database of offerees, you can send your information through to Janelle at ecoworldnz.co.nz, and I'll add you to the list. We will put the email address up at the end of this as well.
Okay, cool. There's also some more stuff here.
So
Is it this one?
how about the penguins? We don't have penguins at the moment, which is fantastic. Our wildlife rehabilitation centre is empty. As for penguins in the future, that is a big concern for us because we do rehabilitate on average 14 penguins a year. And with our closure, Picton is set to lose its wildlife rehabilitation centre, and that is devastating. The next closest rehab centre or facility is Christchurch. So it's possible that they'll just have to be assessed in Picton by vets or someone like that and just be shipped off to the most appropriate facility, which will be determined on an individual basis depending on what sort of help that penguin needs.
There's some more questions down here. Someone's gone and put.
We have a water dragon. Oh, a water dragon. You have a water dragon. I am totally envious. I love water dragons and would absolutely love one myself. I'm not sure about too much of the history around our water dragons, so I don't know about age or anything there, or even sex. I suspect male. All I know with the water dragon is it came to us as a rescue. At its previous home, it didn't get enough UV light. And unfortunately, reptiles, they rely on that UV light to strengthen their bones. So he came to us with a broken jaw, which is set funny. So he's got he's a bit of a special little fella, actually. He's always sitting there with his mouth open. All right. I look forward to your email there, Jacinta.
Okay, we've got another one.
And the orca whale. We do have this big giant orca hanging up behind me here. And in all honesty, I don't know what's going to happen to that guy. Right now, I'm just trying to deal with the living ones. Don't really have plans for, I don't really have a house big enough to hold that we do. So honestly, I'm open to suggestions.
They just chuck it out the front of the building.
Okay.
All right. What
Little Wonka. Past some of our display animals. Past our friendly little Robin, who's a black-masked lovebird. Absolutely gorgeous, sings the most beautiful songs, which you'll know if you've been in to see us.
Is it still raining out?
It's boring.
All right. Well, let's get you outside just for fun.
You what?
Let's get you outside.
Oh, let's get me outside in the rain.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So just make sure the camera stays dry, eh?
Yeah. That's only good.
All right. This is the wonderful. What is this? Is this Picton?
This is Picton, and trust me, guys, it doesn't always look like this. We normally have the most beautiful sunny weather, but you know, even on a day like this, it's dry in the aquarium. And we do give Picton, you know, we give the visitors something to do when they come to Picton on a rainy day and are looking for entertainment. You know, we've got our aquarium, we've got the cinemas,
Do you want to talk
and
about more about
all of that will be lost, unfortunately, if we are
You want to talk
closed.
more about cinemas? Maybe we can start in the cinema.
More about the
quickly.
cinemas. I'm a marine biologist.
Yeah.
I just
Hey, may as well. We've got everyone here. You keen?
I feel like I've already held people for like 22 minutes above what I promised.
We've got three more questions, so it looks like people want more.
Imagine having the orca set up in your home. I do imagine having the orca set up in my home. I also imagine having a lovely big tank where I can take Puff and put him and just watch his little googly eyes.
What about this one?
Googly eyes. I mean, that is definitely something we can look into in the future. I mean, for us, we have a real focus on education, rehabilitation, and education, all that sort of stuff. So anything we can do for the community.
Oh, don't worry, the camera switched off for a second.
Yeah, we lost it for a second there, but that's all right. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so yeah, I mean, that is definitely something we will look into. If we are closed down, we do still want to be able to provide that valuable service to the animals, because this whole situation isn't their fault. They still deserve all the help they can get.
We've got two more. Like I said, people want more.
People want more.
People want more.
People want more.
Anyway.
Okay, so we are an aquarium. I've talked about the aquarium. I've talked about the Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre and all the educational side of things, school groups and everything else. We're also another complete business, which is the Picton Cinemas. And they are due to close as well. So Picton, please, if you don't want to lose your lovely aquarium, if you don't want to lose your marvelous community cinemas, then feel free to jump on, sign our petition. It's just, we need Port Marlborough to listen to us. Please, Port Marlborough, if you're hearing this, please just talk to us. Let us negotiate. I mean, I understand that they want to put something on the site eventually that fits in with the community core values in terms of environmental, economic benefit to the community, and cultural benefits. And we here at Eco World, we're doing all of that anyway. Like, we are happy to work with you if that's what it takes. I'm open to all of your suggestions. I'm here for the community. Well, the pet shop, I'm planning on taking the rabbit and bird to rehome them. In terms of pet shops, I'm doing my very best to stay away from anything like that. I would much rather home the animals myself, and that way I know they are going to good homes, because they are our babies, they are our family. We do care about them, and we do want to make sure that they are happy and healthy wherever they go.
All right, here's another one.
That's a very good question.
Get on the TV. Why are business people helping? Why are business people helping?
I think,
I'm sorry,
can you rephrase that? I think,
yeah, can we
that
get
means,
that last
why aren't
question?
business people helping? Wouldn't it be more?
Can we get that last question maybe clarified a little bit more? I'm not
Anakin's
quite
mum,
sure what you're
Joe.
wanting out.
Yeah,
What you're
if
wanting
you
for that
can-
one.
If you can please resend that question. We just want to make sure you've got that correct.
So in terms of if it is why aren't business people helping, I mean, we have a lot of support from the community. Like, it's very obvious that Marlborough do value us and don't want to lose us, and we really appreciate that, guys. We don't want to go anywhere either. But in terms of support from businesses around town, we have received a lot of support, but there's also a lot of people out there who
Also,
are have dealings with Port Marlborough that are ongoing, and they don't want to get involved in anything that could affect their future of their business. Yeah. So it's politics, it's money, it's Port Marlborough having control over a lot of their assets here in town. And
wouldn't it?
sorry?
It'd be greed as well, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, you could argue greed, but at the end of the day, people with any tourism organisation like us, we're in town, we're giving people something to do, people come through our doors, it gives people an excuse to stay in town more, and the people that come to visit us then go into town and spend money. So it is in everyone's best interest if we can stay open.
Okay, cool.
There's
So
lots of economic flow-on effects there too, but I think people are scared of Port Marlborough,
I'll
which,
just get you to
given
repeat.
my dealings with them, is fairly understandable.
Can you please say your email again?
Okay, we will put up the email at the end of the live stream.
Yeah, we'll post it.
But we'll post it. But it is.
You put it in the comments.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the comments.
2 seconds.
I'm just going to slowly walk past and get noted.
It's Tyler. He's our awesome cameraman. Shout out to your business.
Yeah. Collaborative Kiwi Studios sponsoring this stream of Eco World. I just forgot to put my brand logo up instead of put tree.
It's in the comment. There you go.
Yeah,
That was a
there you
2-for-1 deal. You got you got our supporters, and you got my email address. Fabulous.
Okay, sweet. Cool.
All right, so we'll pop up. We'll have a quick look in the cinemas, because they are a big part of who we are. We do get a lot of people coming in, a lot of people in Picton who may not be particularly interested in the fish, but love to come in and see a movie.
All right.
So we have 3 cinemas here. We like to stream the latest and greatest. We also like to focus on kind of documentary style things. We do have a documentary coming out next week if we're still here, fingers crossed. It'll be a great one for everyone to come along to because it ties in their cinemas and the aquarium. It's called Shark Tale. And it's all about what's happening to the sharks over in Australia, the beaches people like to swim on. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes there that people don't know about, and the purpose of the documentary is to draw attention to that, but effectively it's telling us all about how people lure sharks into shallow water and populated beaches for the sake of culling them, because they say when we're swimming in the shark's home, I might add, that the sharks are a danger to us and therefore they should die. And that in itself is a really, really sad message. So this documentary will bring lots of things to light, definitely worth a watch. But we do have cool stuff on at the moment if you're a fan of like Fast and Furious.
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Getting a shout out. We've got someone who's really keen to watch Space Jam later.
Also, a new Black Widow movie is out by Marvel. It's actually really good. Go see it.
So this is our cinemas.
We've got movies playing at the moment.
Oh, probably not. Right, I'll lift that one up there.
Here we go. Oh, look, this is Black Widow.
Okay, so excuse the walls. I was doing a bit of renovation, which has been halted while this whole battle goes on with Port Marlborough, but fingers crossed we will be able to get the opportunity to actually paint these walls at some point. And you're not going to get too far here because we have stairs.
We'll make it.
You reckon?
Potentially. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, look in there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. This is the most interesting live stream.
You're getting a bit of everything in this one, guys.
Yeah. And those were the stairs we just crossed down there. Alright. So
And
yeah.
here we have one of Picton's marvelous movie theatres. So this is our second largest cinema. And the cool thing about the cinemas here in Picton is if you don't want to sit in a cinema seat, you get to grab a beanbag. And if you don't want one beanbag, you can stack them all up on top of each other and sit on that. Like, it's entirely up to you. We're fairly relaxed. One of our cinemas even has couches in it, and you're not going to find that in too many other places here in great old New Zealand.
Right. Cool. So
Okay.
what's your favorite movie that you've seen over this year?
Oh, my favorite movie I've seen this year. Oh, I actually haven't been watching many movies this year. I haven't had a lot of time to sit down. I'm tired. I need a break. I watched Cruella here at the cinema. I watched Cruella. We were showing it a few weeks back, and it is a really amazing, arty, good movie.
Right. Yeah, let's try. How you been heading?
What plans do you have for the future of Eco World? Okay, that is a very good question, and you're talking to the right person. And the answer to that is I have a lot of plans for Eco World's future. I came in here at the beginning of May with the intent of just going through everything and doing a full makeover. And my dream for the place is when you walk into Eco World, it feels like you're walking into nature. I know, I keep looking at the wrong camera. So I'd like when people walk in to feel like they're walking into nature. I want it to be a full immersive experience. So not just for us, not just for the people visiting, but for the animals as well. So one of the big plans was to do a full revamp of all the enclosures. And my plan there is simulate their real world environment. So the fish don't actually feel like they're in an aquarium. They feel like they're swimming around out in the wild. It's just their wild happens to have glass panels where we can watch them doing their thing. Lots more ferns, greenery, bird sounds, beautiful New Zealand bush. The Tuatara, I would love to revamp that enclosure, and the plan there is ferns. Water feature, we could give them a little waterfall. I'll plumb it up with irrigation, and that'll keep them nice and cool in the summer because they do get a bit stressed out in the heat. So yeah, it was going to be great. I just need the chance. I mean, I bought the, I don't know if many of you know my background, but I used to own the Kaikoura Marine Centre and Aquarium. I bought that in June 2016. So that was 5 months before the Kaikoura earthquake flattened the old business, which I am still paying off. But I get myself into it would seem I feel like I'm actually quite bad luck in terms of businesses, because every time I step into a business like this where I'm completely happy and I'm completely in my element, something happens. And I never quite get the opportunity to live out the dream. Okay, we got some other comments here. Yeah, so we've had a comment saying we're staying here 24/7. So we are doing a bit of an Occupy the Aquarium tonight for anyone who would like to come in and show their support. It's going to be a low-key affair. There'll be no wild parties, absolutely no alcohol or anything like that. But because technically our lease does run out tonight, and as far as we're concerned, we were negotiating a new lease, which would indicate to us a verbal agreement with Port Marlborough to extend it. We shouldn't have to leave. So Occupy EcoWorld is starting tonight. And
Make it a hashtag.
hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Young people.
Occupy EcoWorld. We will be sticking around. The concern is that I think John's concern is that they're going to show up and change the locks, which I don't think we need to worry about too much, but just in case. Port Marlborough have made it very clear to us in their letter yesterday that animal welfare is their primary concern in this as well. So they are going to be making sure that they don't harm the animals as well, and they will be giving us the opportunity to care for them.
I think that's a very good question, because some people might be confused about that.
Will EcoWorld and Wildlife have the new building in Picton or Blenheim? Unfortunately, when it comes to things like aquariums, and this is speaking again from experience, where I've been trying to set up down in Kaikoura for the last 5 years since the earthquake, and I have had no luck. There's really waning interest in zoos and aquariums these days from a government perspective, from a funding perspective, and in my experience, it would seem that once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, we've got a facility here. We have no debts on that. We fully fund all of our own activities. We don't get external funding or anything from anyone. But if we were to have to close down, that is going to cost us a lot of money. And to be able to re-establish something like an aquarium in this day and age, you're probably looking at upwards of $3 million, which we don't have. Yeah. And honestly, leave the animals alone. Yeah. This is their home. Yeah. We agree, like, just, they're our babies.
Yeah, that's a very good point there.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I love the sound of it too. I have a vision for, I know how important aquariums are, not only to me, I mean, they're incredibly important to me personally, but they are so important to communities, to New Zealand, to everything. I mean, we teach people about our wildlife, and with a lot of people, they don't have a lot of interest in the plight of animals and their struggles to survive and all the conservation and issues and stuff, unless they can actually see or interact with the animal themselves. And that's what we're here for. We're here to connect people with nature, to tell the stories for the animals that can't tell them themselves, and to educate on what you can do to get involved, how you can help, just little things. But if we were to lose the aquarium, we lose that sort of education. And for me, I see that as a beginning of a bit of a downhill incline for New Zealand in terms of education and conservation. On one hand, we're pushing this message that it's so important to us and our environment is essential and our animals are just so well looked after, but then we're shutting down all the facilities that are actually responsible for, to a degree, protecting these animals and the environment. And it's kind of pick one or the other, guys.
Yeah.
Save Eco World.
I think this just shows you can spend an hour in the aquarium or more.
Yeah, I'm amazed, guys. You guys have been awesome. I'm stunned that you've held in there with me for so long. I apologize for my ramblings. I do ramble a little bit, and I am aware of that. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the live stream, learned a bit, and just thanks so much for all your support.
Should we see if John has any final words to say before we finish everything
You
up?
know, you want to take this little monstrosity for another walk right through the aquarium?
Yeah, why not?
All right, Tyler's feeling game. We're going to take you for another wander.
We're going to do one last little wander.
Going to go and see if our fabulous director has any comments for the live stream.
All right.
All right.
All right. Let me just re-duct tape the whole set up together. No, all right. Maybe not.
I'll let you take yourself down the stairs this time.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think I need help.
You definitely need help, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't
You
think that
definitely
robot is going to withstand. Run our last roll of duct tape.
We will get a better setup if we.
Next time when I bring my HDMI cord for my actual camera, we'll have a lot better of a setup because there will be a next time.
Oh, and you've got a tripod on wheels. Where's your tripod on wheels? Actually, that was a question I should have asked at the beginning of this.
Well,
Where's your wheel tripod?
funny enough, those are a lot more expensive than what you would think they are.
But you have one, and we're wheeling this camera around, duct taped to a computer chair.
And it's not a very easy computer chair to wheel either.
But no, it's pretty big and clunky.
Yeah, it's fairly old, isn't it?
All right, here, I'll just.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll start lifting and carrying from here. It's just going to make it a little bit easier.
All right. You can see Chanel's beautiful face.
No, you see, I think you see the top of my hat.
Well, we'll see something.
Ugh.
Who would have thought this is what you would have ended up doing today?
Yeah. We really got it just going with the flow here at Eco World.
Really?
Ugh.
All right. Oh, there we go. That worked. All right. We're coming.
Who coming?
We're coming. I might have just crashed into a wall there. Sorry, guys, for your ears. Oh, great. I forgot. This is where it is. Okay. Let's see if it wheels down by itself. Here we go. Is the puffer push out?
No, looks like he's still being a little bit shy. Sorry, Alan. I know you wanted to see him.
Yep, some more comments. Ray? Oh, it's another EcoWorld employee. Oh.
No, thanks so much. Okay, bye.
Okay, so
There was news up.
We were just wondering if our wise leader had any words of wisdom for the audience at home.
Oh God. I need some sleep. And
Yeah.
I've just been talking. It's just not knowing what you don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen next. We're on a knife edge, and it's not great. But
You got to have a really good sense of humour to get through this sort of thing.
we're also on an iPhone, so you know.
yeah, it's black humour. We'll do our best. I mean, that's all we can do, and we're ready if anything untoward should happen.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself.
Yeah. Does anyone have any quick questions for John while we've got him? This man's time is limited.
So is this place if we're not careful. Anyway,
And on that note,
right, happy and
God,
thank God we've got a bit of humour around this place, guys.
Well, we're basically on a Big Bang Theory robot right now.
Okay.
So.
we are.
Okay.
So I will say again, we will wrap this up, but we will be back. So keep an eye out for us. Maybe next time we do a live stream, we will post a little in advance so we can give people a heads up. But thank you to everyone who's stuck around to watch. We really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who showed their support for Eco World over the last few months. Thank you to Tyler, who's been donating his time and resources to help us in this battle. So here he is here. Collaborative Kiwi Studios. There we go.
You'll see me around with lots of different cameras.
He does have a lot of cameras. I had to clear out my car to fit him in this morning.
Yeah. Lots of big work happening, guys. Honestly, come down here. You should be down here and supporting them. All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Ellen says all the best, and Tracy says, okay, great, we're not done. What will happen to the shop with information on Eco World?
Happen to the shop with information. What will happen to the shop with information on Eco World?
They're having a fun live stream, so you recover from you.
What will happen to the shop with information on Eco World? I mean, this whole business will be shut down if Port Marlborough get their way. This building that I'm standing in right now will possibly be converted into offices. I don't really know what their plans for the future here are, but we're going to be gone. Our cafe will be gone. The gift shop will be gone. The Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre will be gone. Aquarium's gone. Cinema's gone. Everything. Just, we're done. And we don't want that to happen. So any help from you guys is absolutely amazing and really, really appreciated. So thank you, and we will see you all next time, guys.
I'll get it all open. So sign the Eco World petition.
Sign the Eco World petition, guys. All right. Hello and good night. Singing.
Been on TV?